Okay, we're back. All right, so we're just gonna give this one more go. I've turned my phone the other way around, as you guys can see. I'm in portrait as at the moment. Is confirming that he's logging back on, so hopefully we'll get you guys all back on and we can officially start this. Of course, we're going to give you some extra time at the other end as we're tiny bit over 9 a.m. So let me just see if I can see if you come back on. Let me see if I can get Phil back on as well and create that. There he is. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. Come on. Work, 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 work. There he is.
Ta-da!
Hello.
Hello.
We did it.
Finally.
We did. Of course, it was always going to give us trouble when it had to be the real call, wasn't it?
You did know that I was in IT for 15 or 16 years, and I
Yes.
still wonder how I can't make IT work today, having spent so much time doing that stuff. So sometimes that's
Um,
just the way it is.
yeah. It's all these new systems and all that sort of stuff. And a
Yeah.
few people have said hello already in the previous call, but I didn't actually post that. I just deleted it and we start all over again. So, welcome
Yep.
to everybody officially to the Monday Morning UBS Live, which is obviously today brought to you with a special guest being Sales Month for July. And Phil will be talking about how to crush sales fear while you earn more and while doing less, right? That was a topic for this week's call. Phil,
Big
thank you
call,
for
right?
taking the time. I know
Yeah,
you were in Melbourne just last week, and you did a
absolutely.
whole lot of upskilling and up leveling, as you
That's right.
call it, and that's awesome because I'm continuously learning and reading and watching stuff and figuring sales out. I think it's a never-ending, constant
Absolutely.
improvement.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and
100%.
so let me give the guys your official introduction, and then I'll give them the less official one, and that way we can get started into the call. As I said, we might stay behind over 9:30 for 5 or 10 minutes, but that's okay. We'll take as much time as it's needed to bring as much value to this call. Okay, so let me give you Phil's
Awesome.
thing, and excuse my reading off a screen because this is the official introduction. So Phil Squires is on a mission after spending many years disillusioned in corporate IT. He tried his hand in business and failed spectacularly in many ventures. Truth was, he was pretty good at learning the subject and how they all worked. Think internet marketing and network marketing. What he didn't realize that when you start a business, you sign up for sales. Well, and if you're scared, people might think you sound too salesy or worried they might not like. And what if they say no? Then every conversation is about you. And so Phil discovered that was truly where the love and self-respect met. And so his mission is to teach entrepreneurs and business owners how to see sales as it truly is, finding the ones who need to be helped and changing lives, not to sell to everyone and to live their life's purpose. So thank you, Phil. Again, I met Phil, you guys, just the unofficial introduction now. Probably, gosh, we haven't even known each other a year, but we have spent quite a lot of time, seeing as we don't even live in the same state. Phil's from the Sunshine Coast.
Yep.
He came down originally, I think, 6 months ago, and attended a social media masterclass, and then I ended up hanging out with him quite a bit in Brisbane when I was up there for the
Yeah,
national
awesome.
tour. And the more conversations we had, I could see that he had this real knack and ability to understand and teach sales, right? And that's why he's also going to be our special guest speaker at the upcoming Sales Mastery Masterclass next week, which is Tuesday and
Going to be
Wednesday, which
so
we're going to
good.
tell you. Yeah, I know. So, okay, Phil, on to you. Enough of me talking. Tell us a little bit about, let's talk about this fear, I guess, let's start off with, because I think it's the fear that is the first block people need to get over before they can learn some strategy on how to
Yeah.
structure their sales conversations.
Okay, fantastic, and thank you for that introduction. Yes, it has been quite a ride, and it's only been 6 months. So thank you for having me on the call or on the UBS Live. It's fantastic. Um, I'll start with a story because many years ago I was working in IT as in corporate. I'd fallen into that as a career. You'll see there was a theme in my life where I wasn't really clear about what I wanted to do. I just kind of fell in and did things. And so I worked in IT in England for many years and was really unfulfilled. I was at the pointy end of things. I was spending a lot of time in data centers, working with a lot of geeky stuff. And I thought I was really clever, but I was really feeling that I wasn't happy and I wasn't in the right place, a little bit depressed, to be fair. And so I
Mm,
tried to get into business because I wanted to do something that was meaningful, and I had no idea what that looked like.
yeah.
I just knew what I was doing wasn't right. Um, and so I tried those businesses that you mentioned earlier, internet marketing, network marketing, and really avoided the one thing that was key. And because I was an IT geek kind of guy, connection and building rapport with people and understanding what they need and want was something that I really struggled with. And so I made a mentor here who helped me understand that sales is not about needing something from somebody else or being attached to the outcome. It's finding the ones for whom that matters. And when we
Mm,
stop thinking about ourselves and when we think about the person that we're talking to and serving them and giving them the breakthroughs and giving them the help they need and want, then the sales fear will begin to subside because your mindset is about how am I going to help somebody? What am I going to do to help change this life? And if it's not a good fit, to be able to say no, which was the
mm,
weirdest thing for me. Like, surely you want to sell everybody all the things,
mm,
and and that's where the fear begins to subside because when you realize it's not about you and that it's
mm.
all about your prospect and your client, then it changed everything. And I went from making not being able to pick up the phone, not being able to have those conversations, not being able to help people, to doing multiple six figures for some
Mm,
of my clients. And
mm,
all of a sudden, it was like the big greatest joy was I was literally every time someone bought something from me, if you like, is because
mm.
I knew they were a great fit, I knew they were going to do the work, and I knew they were going to have the breakthroughs.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
so sales fear, that begins to subside. I think fear is always with you though, just kind of different
Mm.
levels and how you manage that.
Yeah, I believe so. I think none of us are immune to fear or doesn't just like it can lessen and you can learn how to manage it. Yeah, as you said,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't fully ever go away. And you're right, though. I think the right people end up enrolling into what you do when it's that a perfect match. And the ones, even if sometimes if you have people enroll and then they pull out you deep down inside of things sometimes you know that they weren't the right person or yeah
Absolutely.
yeah yeah
Yeah.
yeah yeah
You've made a really good point. There are times in a sales call when they will have told you who they are and how they're going to show up. And I've gone, oh no, but I can still help them. And then later when they refund, I go, oh, I knew it and I saw it. And that's one thing I really admire about you. And when I met you was the vulnerability you share. And I talk about that in my sales training, saying who you are and exactly what you're looking for and saying, look, if this is not you, then just know and seeing you do that so well, I really admire the journey you've been on to be able to now, have the accolades that you have and helped all those people on it, and that's because of your love for sales and
yeah
being able to help the ones who can.
yeah I still make mistakes though. We all do. I think
That's right.
recently we had like a situation where the Stuart and I, like we always say, we have this no dickheads policy, right? um
Yeah.
Meaning that we don't want to work, we want to work with cool people, ones that are just you're just gonna like the world's on fire when you're working together and you can see them strive and you can see you're so proud of them and vice versa, they're so happy with what you have done and for them and how you've helped them, and that's super super rewarding. By the way, good morning to everybody. I know a few comments are coming through,
Hello,
guys.
Neil, Bradley, Kitty, Joy.
Yeah, make sure you guys post up any questions or comments for Phil as we're going through this call. But yeah, and sometimes Stuart will say, "Are you sure this person is okay?" Or like there was maybe one alarm bell in his mind, and then we'll talk about it, and I go. I think they're all right. And then if the situation turns and I go, you know what, I think you were right, but I didn't want to admit
Yeah,
it at the time.
yeah,
And you know, and then it's like, okay, it's okay because actually we're protected by not working with this person, because I think
yeah,
sometimes you can attract certain people, you may not read the situation right, and then it turns out, but I reckon the universe always looks after you with who it
yeah,
sends your way. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. So tell
Absolutely.
us maybe from all of, I guess you did a lot of up leveling, skilling, and you do a lot of stuff within your own business. Maybe
Yeah.
let's focus on three key things that you would love to share, you know, that are gold nuggets to make a difference in someone else's sales. Would that be cool?
100%. That is amazing. And I wrote down three this morning.
Oh,
I think I think the first thing, and I really had some massive breakthroughs. The I didn't know I had some unresolved issues in a certain area, and what happened was it's about finding your life's purpose. The breakthrough I had was around finding your life's purpose.
yeah.
Why are you in business? Because to make all the monies, it's my understanding when you get to 250, 300,000, then you're going to have enough money. And
Mm,
thereafter, what's going to drive you and what is going to
mm,
take you to the 500 or the $1 million? I don't think it's just about the money anymore. And I
yeah,
hear this again and again.
yeah.
Um, so I'll keep this as succinct as possible. My mom passed away when she was 43. Mom wasn't a strong person. Mom suffered from depression, alcohol, codeine addiction, all sorts of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so when my dad and her divorced, she was a middle-aged woman who had no idea how to be in business or find a job and all that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and really didn't know her way in the world. And so she struggled to find places. And being a white woman in South Africa, kind of privileged compared to some of the other races at
Sure.
that time. But mom was still struggling in and out of halfway houses or psych wards because she tried to kill herself.
Mm-hmm.
And this was stuff that went on, and I know it's getting a bit heavy, but there's some joy in this
Yeah.
too, because that the I didn't when I was at this event this last week, I came across a woman who serves and looks after just a women who are having the experience of homelessness, and
Yes.
women who need support along the journey so that they can begin start a new career, find a way to have some self-respect and go out there and make their way in the world. And it really, really affected me because I was like, holy smokes, this is something that matters to me. I know what I know. Not, my business is not just about making the money, and helping the people, which is helping my prospects, my students, which is important. But it's what
Mm.
am I going to be able to do that is greater than me, and to have those learnings, to know what your purpose is. And this
Yes.
may change down the road, but right now this is super important to me, and I believe it should be super important to everybody. What matters to you, and what will drive you to go and make a difference in the world, and help others when they really need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's really important. Like, I guess it's with the why. Yeah. It starts with why. Why do you
It's
want to
with,
make?
absolutely, it's with the why.
If
It's with the why.
you,
And so the next thing that I like to talk about is uh, having the mindset of a warrior, having the philosophy around why you do what you do, because you do what you do because I think it matters, because you want to change
mm,
the world. So the idea that not going to pick up the phone, or you're not going to sell somebody in a program, or you're worried about what they think and say, because they're scared. Actually, our role as salespeople is to fight for others when they really when they really need someone to stand for them and show them the way and be the leader. So to
yeah.
develop, I'm not picking up the phone to sell somebody into anything because I don't have attachment. My role is to find the one is to find out if I can help them and then help
Mm,
them. So
mm,
every call is about, I'm going to pick up this and I'm going to help this person. And if it's not for them, then that's also cool. So does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
about coming into every conversation with what can I do to make a difference? And so that's
I'll I'll add something onto that one. A lot of years ago on a webinar, I heard this little statement, and which made a big difference in how I felt about it all. It says, "Be committed but not attached." So be committed to getting a yes or no outcome, but don't be attached to what that is, because as I said, even if we rewind back 5 minutes ago, it's like some people are not going to be, suited and a match for your business, and that's cool. But be committed to get a yes or a no. I always say I'm committed to get to a yes or a no, and it doesn't matter what that is, because if you dwell into the rejection and all that, because in reality, sales is that you're going to get more no's than yeses.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Tell us number 3.
And I love that what you just said there about getting a decision. My outcomes are no, they put down the phone, or yes, and it's all we want is to help them to have a decision, because I think there's nothing worse, especially when we first get into business, is of feeling, oh well, they might join me down the road because they kind of said maybe, they 2-3 months and they're going to be golden, and that's not a sale, and you have that connection and wasted energy around. Yeah, that's right. I don't know how to say no, but I'm saying no.
Yeah, 99.9% of the time that's a no. Very rarely have I seen 1 in 150, 200 conversations, and mine are big conversations when it comes to my program, that they would ever return 6, 9 months, 12 months. They either will, probably they'll be even too embarrassed to return and go, now I want to do it, and they'll go and do it with someone else. Because I've seen that happen, like, I follow a couple of other people and all that sort of stuff. And, but a maybe is a no, just put it that way. Don't put, what is it? Hope into those maybes. They're just no's. Yeah.
And this segues perfectly into point number 3. It's around not only having that decision in your head, but also openly having that conversation with them. So when they're saying, I don't know, maybe I don't have the money, I need to speak to my partner, so we're thinking about objection handling.
Yes.
What they're saying is something that they feel is going to be enough for you to get off the phone. And that's the time where you need help, where you need to and can have the choice to help them further, because it's not true. I say time, money, partner, information, all that stuff is BS. It's actually a smokescreen for something else. And if you don't, as salespeople, it's our responsibility to dig in and go, okay, thank you so much. I hear what you're saying. This is what I heard you saying. And I hear this all the time. And really dig into like what's really going on. So that when they get off the phone, they know they've said no to you and you both know it. So, this leads, point 3 is about scripts. It's about not.
Sorry to interrupt, but what are some of the things, like when you say, when they bring up the key objection, like those top 5 that they're out there, what are some of the things, and this is obviously not the answer for every single person why they're saying no, what have you found to be the common underlying reasons? The BS is not really the real story. Tell us that.
That's great, and a very pertinent question. Value. When we get on the call with somebody, or when we're having that conversation about what it is that they can or can't achieve, it's about having so much value in the beginning of the call, really understanding what keeps them awake at 1 o'clock at night, what really their vision looks like, and being able to be that person that understands the problem is better than they do, because we've been there, we've heard it before, and we see it in the different kind of flavors, and being able to make sure we communicate back that we understand them. And so building that value in the beginning of the conversation will very often lead to no objections at the end of the call, because you built so much value, and then help them have breakthroughs around what's really, really possible. Because when they give those excuses, like I said, they BS. Very often for me, if I get all the objections or any of them, it probably means I haven't done a good enough job at the beginning of the call, and that qualification and really understanding them.
That's I call that beginning of the call, where you build that deep rapport and get to know them,
Yeah,
and they kind of, you show genuine interest in them and what their situation and what their life is. So often, I guess I've done a lot of training myself with other people, or have learned different sales syntaxes or systems. But they say,
yeah,
if you can spend 95% building rapport, sometimes in a call, and the sale can happen in the last 5% of the conversation. But if you
yeah,
sort of brush over that and you kind of just get into nuts and bolts of things, you usually will, as you say, get those objections. And then establishing value. If we talk about value, it could be value. The way I heard you frame it, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I heard you frame
yeah,
that as the rapport section, but also
yeah.
value in when you're, if they can't see the value of what your thing is, what your program is, what your product is into their own life, that would be tenfold what they would be investing.
Yeah.
Yeah, also putting it in that regard.
Yeah, and thank you for making the distinction, because I didn't say that. Yes, initially in the beginning of the call, it's about them and what matters to them.
Yeah,
And I think, the reason why I made point number one something that was, really speaking from the heart, is
yeah,
because at the beginning of the call, it is about not only building rapport, but developing, having a real connection. and
yeah,
and and you and that's where that building that value in the beginning has that connection. So all the way through the call, when you now say, all right, fine, yes, so if we did X, Y, and Z, and you got to get this kind of result, do you think would you like some help with that? And do you think you establish whether they believe this is really true, that they can do
mm,
it? Well, then, yeah,
yes,
you're building the value around the product and their
yes.
vision. So yeah, you're spot on.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so super, super, super important. Like, I can't tell you enough, because if you flip back to the no's that you get, and we run like a sales mastery mastermind at my house every
Yeah.
month for the 12 months, and we were actually discussing sales flops the other week, on
Yep.
Thursday last
Nice.
week. I said, everyone come in with an example of a conversation you had that resulted in a no, and let's go through and reverse engineer where or what should have been said. And we had so many different examples, and we saw where each stage, or even in follow-up and things like that, things get
Yeah.
lost, and people fail. Actually, next week I have a special little fun game we're going to play at the masterclass, for the
I
for
love
next
those
week.
games.
Yeah, but this one's gonna go for a full day, and it's gonna make a big point.
Right.
Like, yeah. Anyway, you just have to wait. I can't tell you, because you're gonna be part, as well as speaking. You're gonna be a participant.
What? I don't know if I
Yeah,
should cut.
oh yeah, love it.
Actually, that's one thing I've learned. I've learned consistently over the last 18 months, through gamification and being in
Mm-hmm.
situations where you run through yourself through scenarios and you come out the other end and debrief. So it sounds like there might be one of those, and those always excite me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love it. We're actually designing it this week. I actually have no speaking events, no nothing. My diary is empty. That's
Yeah.
but I'm getting ready all for next week. I'm getting ready for Dubai. I'm getting ready for I guess the next 6 months. I'm getting them all set
Yeah.
up this week. So I'm just like in my office, and I go, okay, I'm gonna get everything organized, because once we hit the ground running, that's it. And
Yeah.
do you recommend? And I do, and I've having learned from different sales experts and all that sort of stuff, that people have got a script or a system or a
Yeah.
syntax, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and that really lends itself to where I was going with the objection handling. The truth is, you can only handle the objections really well if you have a system of communicating.
Right.
So some people call it a call plan, or some people call it a script. Some people are
Yeah.
scared of the word script, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I don't want to be the guy who's just reading from the page. I want to just
Yes.
speak my own mind. It's absolutely critical to know what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're saying it, so that when you
Yes.
look at it from a business perspective, how do you track and what are you tracking and measuring? Where are they falling off the call? Where are you
Yes.
maybe, did you call it the sales bloopers or sales somethings?
Flop.
You know,
Yeah.
sales flops. because you track and measure that, right? And
Mm.
and you can only do that really well if you know the order in which things are being said, and you have the opportunity to debrief and analyze that later. So yeah, absolutely. I'll have a script. Much of my script is in my head, but I will hold it in front of me when I'm on the
Yeah.
phone. It's with me all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
same with objections and how to handle those objections. Because in that, when I'm on the call, I want to be with them. And so
Yes.
if I have a prompt, I can quickly go to the prompt and then stay with them on the call and stay connected.
And the thing is, yes, it might feel scripted and read like a routine. In the early days, you know, what the saying is, everything's awkward before it becomes easy or familiar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after a while, it's like, you know, it becomes like an everyday conversation because you're just so into that flow of how things happen in your conversations. And so yes, but most people don't sit through the first few awkward ones. They don't even give themselves the opportunity to just go through that to get to a point where they don't need the piece of paper. And yeah, I mean, sometimes a lot of my sales can happen face to face, and there's no piece
Yeah.
of paper that you can have. So you need to have,
Sure.
you need to have practiced it or know it. There's opportunities where you can have a piece of paper, you know, for those phone conversations, as you say.
Yeah. Sure.
And sometimes if you're online, but not an obviously video conference, although you can stick it up somehow around your
Yeah,
computer.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So
What was I
people
going to
don't.
say?
Yeah, right. So yeah, and I've seen that time and time again. Yet so very few people, and especially the new business owners, I guess they still haven't got to that point of learning this stuff in a detail. I mean, there's a whole science around it, and it's
Yeah,
not
that's right.
a nasty science, or that it's not an EQ one. It's one that serve so many people and allows them to achieve their goals. And knowing that these people who are listening to this call are mostly going to be in the
Yeah.
personal development coaching space, helping other business owners grow and all that sort of stuff. You guys, I mean, you know, money is just a reflection of how many people you have helped. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And I also say, you were spot on in the beginning. Like when you said, you know, once you've made $200,000-$300,000 and you know how to do that regularly, really your core needs, wants, desires are generally, you know, fulfilled. You know, yeah, what's going to drive you to get to, you know,
Yeah.
6, 7 figures, you know, 500,000, million, 8 figures, or whatever it is. And yeah, I always find that very, very intriguing as to why some people go through and some people just will stay at a certain level and that's
Yeah.
enough for them. Yeah, and maybe different
Yeah.
purposes. You know, some people's purpose is just to be an awesome parent, and that's where their biggest value is just to put more time and invest, you know, and the
Yeah.
financial stuff just supports that. So yeah, everyone is different. Yeah. What do you
I
have
had a
as
massive
yeah.
Sorry, I had a massive distinction around that this week. You know, a lot of
Yes.
people say, you know, most people strive to be happy. And the truth is, we can't be happy all the time. You know, like there's nothing that I like better than a good laugh, but I'm not going to be laughing all day, every day. I think what
No.
most of us would seek is peace. And
Yeah.
if you're making 100,000 a year and being able to make sure that your core family unit is safe and secure, awesome. Then they've found their
Yeah.
level. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone's got different visions and dreams. You know, I don't think a seven-figure business is for everybody. You know, for some people it's
Hard
not
work.
enough. What's that?
It's hard work.
It is hard work, yes, absolutely. But you can systemize it and get it to a point. And I always say to people, don't think it's always going to be as hard as it's in your first 3 years of business. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm pretty peaceful right now. Like, you know, yes, I've got moments where, you know, I'm getting my run of no's, and then I've got the
Yeah.
moments where I have the you know, the floodgates open and all that kind of stuff. But because once you've been through a few cycles of what the years look like and what's generally going to happen here and there, you can
Yeah.
predict and you know,
Absolutely.
sort of know. You know, I was very scared not to have like one-on-one clients when I transitioned 2.5 years ago, but now I know when I'm going to get my run of sales, and that those sales will
Yep.
support me through periods of holidays and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
really is the bloodline of the business. Tell the guys, as we're winding up now, slowly in the next 3 or 4 minutes, tell the guys what are I don't know if you've planned what you're going to talk about on next week at the masterclass, but will you be bringing us some more juicy stuff like this?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, my journey, and I asked you to write out my professional, you know, my little
Mm.
thing, my blurb about who I
Yeah.
am. I think it is about, you know, number one, sort of the being clear that being able to, again, massive learning this last week. It's about being able to tell your story and a story that matters to your prospect.
Yeah.
Because I know you're big on story, the
Mm.
having the opportunity to be vulnerable. Look, you can overdo vulnerability and then end up looking like a victim or you know, just telling that
Yes.
stuff all the time. But and I also think, you know, it's super important to be able to, when you're getting on a call, say for instance, or in face to face, if someone's kind of shut down and you're not able to connect with them, and you know on some level that you want to have, they need to have there's an opportunity for you to find out whether you can help them, and they've shut
Yes.
down, then
Yes.
one of the best ways to get them to have that conversation is to tell a story that's going to be able,
Mm.
that might resonate with them, so that when you show some vulnerability, they can be, you know, they can do that too, and then
Yeah.
you can lead into conversation. So the
Yeah.
vulnerability and also being the leader. You know, there's two
Mm.
things, and
Mm.
I believe the exceptional leaders of this world at some point choose to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
and lead through by being the example. Because I was an
Mm.
officer in the army, yeah, we, you know, you either did the push-ups or you did the running or you got in the tanks because we told
Mm.
you to.
Mm.
That works in the military. I don't think that works in this kind of leadership that you and I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. You have to, yeah, pick, you know, you have to show all different sides of you and, you know, show people that you're human and that's what
Yeah,
they want to know, that you're like them and they're like you. Yeah, I love it.
yeah,
I love it. Well,
yeah.
I can't wait
Inspire
to
them.
see you next week. I can't wait. And I'm actually coming up to the Sunshine Coast to do my half day workshop there for the very first time in
Are you?
September.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
I'll let you know what dates to see if
Do
you're
that.
free to.
Do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
But guys, if you want to join us, because I know a few people who've been watching the call this morning are already coming next week. But for those of you that will be watching this recording or are watching it and you don't know about our awesome Sales Mastery Masterclass with Francesca, that's happening next Tuesday and Wednesday in Doncaster. We literally have 10 spots left. That venue can only fit 80 people max, and there is, yeah, 70 people already booked in. This is going to be our biggest masterclass ever. We've been running masterclasses now for 2.5 years. And Francesca and I obviously started from this year doing them together because we can obviously pull more people from each of our networks, and it's a whole lot more fun anyway. Helen's saying I'm looking forward to it. I know Joyce coming to crew, and Andrea said this morning she would. So we're all sorted, like, you know, because it's going to be busy in the morning. But yeah, 9 till 5 each of those days. So this is a full immersion, 2 days. Phil knows, he's been to a couple of them. There's lots of games. There's a
Yeah.
special day on day 2. I've already got to pick the song and the theme. Phil, I'm not telling you though. Last week as Con was leaving, you know, Con the photographer, who's also
Yeah.
gonna the little segment at the masterclass. We were standing after our mastermind because he does the year-long program with me, and we came up with the song and the theme. I go, oh, thank God, because that's always my biggest thinking point as to how we're going to make it unique and different from every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, guys, what I'll do when we get off the call is I will post the masterclass link below this. Phil, if there's any way people can contact you, or obviously put all your contact details also in a little
Yep.
comment below the
Yep.
below this call. You know,
Gotcha.
if there's something you want to share, feel free to do that. And I totally appreciate you obviously jumping on and testing this format of interviews, which I thought, you know, let us know what you guys thought.
Great
You know,
fun.
did it come through okay? Did it work okay? Because Kitty and I, Kitty's interviewing me on her thing this Wednesday. She was trying to work out a system like this, that you can see each other, and it's obviously just free and available on Facebook to do
Yeah.
interviews like this. So thank you once again. Have a great day. I'm sure you
Thank
guys
you.
up there are
It's been great fun.
having a. Is it sunny and warm where you are?
I'd love to tell you that story because it was last week, and when I got to Melbourne, I was like, "Do you know what? I was at the beach 2 days ago, but I'm not going to the beach today. I'm
Uh-huh.
actually wearing long johns, so I think we're in the
Uh-uh.
same kind of boat. It's cool enough."
Okay, yeah. So like, I don't like the cold, but actually it's sunny outside, but obviously not warm enough to be out there in short sleeves. I only
Yeah,
have a couple of more months till it gets
but you
warmer.
have all this sunniness going on here, so that's enough, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Phil. Awesome. Well, thank you
All
guys
right.
for being with us this morning. Next week will be, of course, another sales conversation type of call. I don't have a special guest. I may have one, but I will let you know as the week progresses what's happening next week, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.